Since we launched Problem Solver, we've filed countless reports showcasing oftentimes immediate solutions for our viewers, like getting a refund or repairs. But sometimes solving a problem isn't always clear-cut. This week, we're tackling perhaps a larger problem that's not specific to any one individual or family. Instead, a broader societal issue. Our goal this time is to challenge you, the viewer, to consider another person's point of view in any situation to, at the very least, develop a greater understanding.
I didn't even look through the peephole, I just went like this.
What started out as a knock at the door,
my heart instantly is just, I'm like, police? Like, why would the police be here out of all people?
turned into a heart-racing emotional trigger for this 39-year-old ex-felon.
I did my crime, I did my time.
Adolph Woods was charged with aggravated robbery when he was 14 years old. Tried as an adult, he served 17 of his 20-year sentence and spent the last 3 out on parole. By all accounts, it was a rough experience for a young man, leaving him with PTSD all these years later.
I hear sirens, like my stomach will bubble.
He says the visit he got from law enforcement searching for a fugitive didn't help.
He said, I'm looking for your cousin Ricky, and when he showed me, I said, that's not Ricky, that's the dude who stabbed my cousin.
3 officers came to Woods' door, 2 SAPD officers and 1 state investigator. Woods says he was verbally disrespected in his own home and did not like the officers' approach. He says he didn't invite the lead investigator in, but says that investigator took 1 step past the front door.
I stood right there in the spot where I opened it. He said, I'm with the TD Fugitive Task Force.
And even though that investigator had a picture of the fugitive, Woods says he started harassing his guests who looked nothing like the man wanted.
He started asking everybody, what's your name? What's your name? What's your name?
Woods says he knows the man police were looking for, but he doesn't associate with him and he's never been inside his home. Still, Woods feels the 3 officers did not believe him, firing more questions.
I said, why would the person that stabbed my cousin be hiding out in my house and I know he got a warrant?
Woods says instead of just leaving and looking elsewhere, the search for information unfairly shifted during the next line of questions from officers.
What took you so long to come to the door? You lying. You wasn't in there sleep. How do you know what I was doing? You was knocking at my door. You don't know what I was doing in there.
Like, oh, if I can't find him, I'm going to mess with this one. No, that's not how it should be.
I said, where's y'all warrant at? Can I see the warrant? He was like, your cousin Ricky. I'm like, I don't have a cousin named Ricky.
Woods and SAPD don't agree on whether the lead investigator stepped inside the apartment or not. We checked. Officers can only enter your home if they're invited, have a warrant, or if it's urgently necessary. In this case, the state maintains the officer did not enter. After reviewing body camera video, the Texas Department of Criminal Justice says in a statement, the officer did not step past the door. He did peep into the room from the door for safety security purposes.
Yes, he did. He came just like this. He got this far.
We went back to see Woods a second time.
He got exactly this far, and I was right here because I was still holding the door. That's when he said, who's behind the door? He was right here.
His story did not change. He called everyone who was there when the encounter happened to sit in for the second interview. All there confirmed what Woods says happened.
I'm not shocked that they would lie about the situation.
They don't want to stand up for what they did. They don't want to pay for their action.
All 3 officers did eventually leave, but Woods says the emotional toll of their visit lingers. His PTSD triggered.
This is the biggest trigger since I've been out of prison.
Woods shared traumatic experiences he had with law enforcement over the years. He lost 4 of his front teeth years ago during one of those encounters.
He's not sleeping like he's supposed to. He is always on edge.
What's it going to take for you to move forward?
I don't know. I'm just like, I'm gonna have to go through counseling for sure.
You always have to be prepared that the person may be there.
For a police point of view, we turn to Tom Smith. He retired after 33 years in law enforcement, including with the U.S. Marshal Service. Generally speaking, he says officers have to be on guard while searching for a fugitive and may come off callous.
It's not the same person law enforcement officer that you're going to meet at the job fair.
Now, he wasn't there during the encounter Woods had with officers, and he's not attempting to defend how things played out. But generally speaking, he says knocking on doors, even in the search for information, is dangerous.
Especially if you know anybody in there is a past felon or have done time. They kind of have animosity a lot of times, not always, but more than not, against law enforcement.
And that's what bothers this couple.
Let's be real, we're not dumb. You've already done your research. You know whose house you're about to pull up to.
Woods says it's unfair for officers to assume someone with a criminal past can't change. He says he's learned his lesson and is keeping his nose clean, but he says law enforcement unfairly treats him like a criminal.
They'll always bring up my past. Like, I did this when I was 14. This was a mistake I made when I was a child. I was a kid.
So you feel like police won't let you move on?
They won't.
After we pointed it out, Woods says he does understand it's unfair to assume all officers are out to get him. He also says he gets this point Smith raises about the dangers of knocking on doors.
There's people that are shot right through the door, law enforcement officers.
Nationwide, 378 officers were shot last year in the line of duty. 46 of them died. Texas had 39 officers shot, the highest number of any state, with 1 death. From the officer's point of view, the risk of things going south increases in high crime areas. From Woods' point of view, encounters with police can be dangerous, especially in black and brown neighborhoods. Research shows blacks are killed by police at a much higher rate than other ethnicities, with 6.2 fatals per million of the population between 2015 and 2024, compared to Hispanics 2.7 and whites 2.4.
They owe him an apology, to be honest. That's a big thing. They owe him an apology.
Woods believes officers would not have used the same aggressive approach and would have double-checked the likelihood a fugitive would even be at a given address had the search been in a wealthy community.
The same way if you in Stone Oak, they'll check and they'll double check. They should double check in the hood because you don't know who stay in the hood.
Two different takes, each with valid points. Bottom line, police have a job to do, and they want to make it home to their family safe. And Woods has the right to live in peace, despite his criminal past.
I feel like it can be a learning experience on both sides.
Smith agrees.
If people can take the time to look at it from the other person's point of view, I think we can get beyond a lot of this.
Now, police will tell you they were trying to gather information from someone they had reason to believe knew something. Woods will tell you he was not harboring a fugitive, had no information, and was not obligated to help. This is a clear example of how aggression breeds aggression. In this case, it was sparked by a police search. Tomorrow, it could be you in any number of scenarios. Whatever the case, it sometimes helps to consider a different point of view. I'm Fox SA's investigative problem solver, Darian Trotter.
Excellent point there, Darian. Thank you. We've submitted an open records request for that body camera video. Meanwhile, as part of his release, Woods successfully completed the state's gang renouncement and disassociation program. And yes, we checked. So far, he's not been in trouble with the law.